Now, welcome back. Now, as I was saying the other time, now it can contain letters, digits, and underscore. Now we've practicalized what it looks like using an underscore. Same thing. Let me remove this one. We already know it's case sensitive. You can do something like student one. Let me say student one, and maybe you duplicate this to be student two, then another student three. Now you can see it can contain letters. These are letters, digits, and underscore. Now the second rule is it must begin with a letter or an underscore. That is, you can either start with a letter or you can start with underscore, something like this. Now, the one I showed the other time, is not possible for you to start with a number or any special characters. You can see this is going to prompt an error. So it must begin or start with a letter or an underscore. Now, another thing again is a variable name cannot be a reserve or keywords. Now, each of these programming languages has their own reserve or keywords. For instance, print is actually a keyword in Python. So let me do something like print is equal to let's say John again, for instance. Let's say John, or let me do something like return instead of print. Let me do return. Now you can see return can be used only within a function. Now you can't use a keyword as a variable name. Now another one of it is case sensitive, which I've just explained. It's case sensitive, and we all know what it means to be a case sensitive. So I'm going to remove this. Then another thing is it must not contain a space or special characters. For instance, let's say I want to do student name and I do student space, name is equal to John. This is actually not a valid variable name. Instead, it's either you remove the space or you separate it with an underscore, or maybe you put something like this. Now you can see this is actually a special character, or maybe you put an hyphen. This is no longer a valid. Now most time you are to avoid using double underscore at the beginning, because this is actually means another thing when you are using a double underscore, more or less like trying to create a function or something. So it's not advisable to use double underscore, but you can use just a single underscore. So something like that. Something like this. So this same rule can be applied or applicable to all other programming languages. So those are the rules in forming an identifier or a variable. Now there is some other things I need to show you guys using a variable. So I'm just going to make use of the student name again. Or let me say student 1 is John, while student 2 is Samson, for instance. Now note something, there is something called concatenation, or adding two strings together. This is more or less like an addition, but if you are performing it with a string, it means a concatenation. Even if it is not a string, there is a way you can add two variables together. That is exactly what I'm going to be showing you now. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is student 1 plus student 2. Now, what will this give us? This is actually going to combine the two names together, as you can see over here, John, Samson. Let me try to clear my console so that all the latest run is going to be at the top. Now you can see John Samson. Now, same way, it is possible for you to add a space in between these two things and just put an addition over here too. And when I run it this time around, it's not going to merge the two together, whereas it's going to give a space in between them. Now, same thing for this. I can just do something like const students name to be Samson. Don't worry, I don't want to be using the same variable I use. So same thing over here. You can just add the two variables together by putting addition, then student name. And when I run this, node variable.js, then I should have this. Now, same way we did for that one, you can actually add a space in between these one too. And once you rerun this, it's going to give us John Samson with space in between them. Now, same thing for this. I'm going to be creating another string with capital letter string. Then I'm going to be doing student name. So for you to know what I mean by it to be a case sensitive. Now it's more or less the same thing, but notice something. I use capital letter S here, while this one is small letter. So this is actually a two different variables. Now on this other side here, if I put addition, then student name like that, and I run my project, this is going to give me a John and Samson being added together like that. And if I separate this and I add addition to the other side here again, and I run, it's going to give me with space in between it. Now for the C++ part, same thing we did over there. Now notice this one is going to be small letter string, that is lowercase s. Then I'm going to do student. Let me do another method. Let me do student name. So equals to Samson, something like this. And same way we did for others, you can actually come over here and add it together and just do something like student name, something like this. Now I'm going to cd to lesson 2. Then I'm going to do, remember the G++ we did the other time, this. Then later I'm going to do period / variable.exe. Then I'm going to run this. Now you see what I have, John and Samson together. Now same thing we did by doing this, and you recompile your project and you rerun it again. Now as you can see, I'm having John and Samson being separated like that. Now as you can see, everything is more or less the same thing across these 4 programming languages. Now there is another part that I'm going to show you, that is, you can actually perform what's it called, an addition. For instance, let me do something like value a. Let me make it more to be equals to, let's say 20, and value b to be equals to 10. Then I can actually perform an arithmetic operation on these two values here, that is value a plus value b. I'm supposed to make this uppercase, so let me try to change that. So value b. Now if I run this, I should have 30. Now this is just adding it together. Same thing, you using this, and if I run, I should get 2.0. Now, when we get to the data types part, I'm going to explain what this really means in fully. Then there is increment, that is, instead of doing, I can do, okay, value B is equal to value A plus 10. Instead of saying value B to be 10 and adding value A plus value B, I can just do value A to be 20, then value B is equal to value A plus 10. Now the value A here is 20, right? So which means by doing this, value B will be equals to what? 30. So let's try to see that, and let's see if it is going to work exactly. You can see 30 over there. Now, same thing, if you want to subtract from it, you can do this and just rerun, and it's going to give us our answer. So you can try that for the rest of it, and let's see if you could be able to get that. Let me know in the comment section if you're able to do it. If you could not, then you should check the Github Repo for the full version of the code. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye.